Yes, welcome back to Where Hornets Walk. Happy New Year to all. Hope you're all well and you're having a great Christmas. The team is back, episode 23, and this week we're talking about just what has happened to Watford over the Christmas period. Defensive lapses, open missed goals, Fortnite dances. We'll review it all in a second. Plus, we're talking about Takeover Talks, the FA Cup preview. Hopefully a Fulham fan will be joining us shortly to talk about the reunion between Marco Silva and Watford, and top picks for January signings. Who do these three want to see in a yellow shirt at the end of January? We've got our full team back. Aaron, Luke and Rio are here with us. Thank you very much for all your support. We're getting amazing views on this particular channel. What we'd love now is to hit our 100 subscribers target. If you can help us do that now, that would be massive. I mean, so much to us. Press a button and then stick the alerts on so you don't miss us every single week. Right, let's jump straight into our 4 debates then. Aaron, what's happened to Watford over Christmas?
Yeah, it's a bit of a... it's somewhat expected because although we had been playing well and winning games, the games were still close, and I feel like we've sort of gone the other way now, where we're not getting the rub of the green in games, and it's resulted in poor results. I mean, I said in the last episode, in that set of 3 games of Cardiff, Portsmouth, and QPR, we wanted at least 7 points, come away with 3. Obviously, it's nowhere near where we want to be, and I think the Cleverley and the players know that. Like you said at the start, the defence, the lapses of concentration, especially in set piece situations, is a bit worrying, and it's something they're really going to have to address now in this winter period. Okay,
let's quickly run back over them. We know they're at least 2 weeks old by now, but it's the first time we've met you since the turkey was served. Let's talk about that Portsmouth game first of all, Rio. I mean, our Portsmouth fans, when we spoke to them, were absolutely livid at that result. And Aaron said you haven't had the rub. Not having the rub of the green. You shouldn't have won that game, should you? That should have been a draw.
Yeah, obviously they scored early on. They didn't really threaten us. We had lots of the ball first half, but second half kicking towards the rookery, especially on that home unbeaten run we were on. You know what's coming, and we did get our luck because that bar foul was not inside the box, and obviously Sissoko did well when Vata scored the winner, and you ride your luck in this league. Like on the weekend, what am I talking about? Who do we play on the week? Oh, sorry, I'll confirm.
Sheffield United.
Sheffield United. We should have had a penalty in the last minute, so you win some, you lose some.
Okay. Now, Luke, ever since the Fortnite dance was done, Watford haven't won since. Before we jump into the Cardiff result, can you understand the Portsmouth fans' irritation at that? I mean, it was a juvenile thing to do, wasn't it?
Not really, to be fair. I saw a lot of clips afterwards that the Portsmouth fans were sort of getting into him in the first half, chanting like about the bar and stuff like that. And I think it's sort of a bit fair. It's just giving it a bit back. We had it the other day actually at home with Backman. What fans were booing him, and he's finally sort of just snapped back. And it's one of those things. If you can't give it, don't take it. And it was just very good how it was all done. I wasn't very happy he got sent off for it, but it was kind of worth it. But again, it's one of those karma things. I think Portsmouth fans probably saying they're probably looking at our results every week now, hoping we lose, and they've got that, which is a bit of karma. But absolutely. I do think it was a good bit of entertainment. To be fair, that game was the best game we've had at home in terms of it had everything, especially that second half. But yeah, I don't agree with it personally. If you can't take it, don't moan when you get it back.
Okay. Yeah, I think our Portsmouth fans said, I hope he's injured for the return leg because he's not going to know what's hit him at Fatsby. I think come March. Yeah, absolutely. Aaron, what happened against Cardiff? I lost money on that game. I'm sure lots of people in the country did. Unbelievable result.
Yeah, we were just not at the races at all. And you could see it because Cardiff were terrible and we were somehow worse. It was just one of those. To concede early, get back on the front foot, dominate, score, and we're thinking, oh, come on, let's get back into this game now. And then to concede the way we did, literally 30 seconds after scoring, then I knew the minute that goal went in that that game was over, because you that's like the worst time to concede. When you just took everything out of the game, we became flat, dwindled out the rest of that half, and Cardiff just had to sit back and take what we gave them in the second half, and they got the 3 points. So that was definitely, in my opinion, our worst performance of the lot.
And on to Sheffield United briefly then, Rio. I mean, obviously they've now done the double over you, but should you've got more out of that game?
Yeah, out of the 3 fixtures over the Christmas period, it was probably our best one. We actually played quite well, and obviously it was a depleted Sheffield United team, quite a few injuries, illnesses, but when you're at the top of the league, you show the sign of a good team when you win games like that, and it's just the basics for getting wrong. Conceding early on, that's our 12th goal we've conceded before the 13th minute mark, and we're halfway into the season, 24 games, and like being flat-footed from set pieces, conceding. I mean, just a bit of a wake-up call. And that injury to Batman, I think we definitely need a goalkeeper now alongside a few other positions.
So absolutely, we'll come on to that in a second. Luke, we missed out QPR there. Sorry, I don't think there's much to say about that game, was there?
No, it's always a tough place to go. I find QPR and Luton similar in terms of places to go because of how narrow the pitch is, how close the fans are. I always feel like we've always struggled there. I know we've picked up a couple wins over the last sort of 6-7 years, but we just always seem to get bullied at those sort of grounds. And for playing a 5 at the back, and we had our 3 probably biggest centre backs we got absolutely bullied by whoever their striker was, whatever his name was. He was just massive. We saw him and thought, me and my mates just went, he's going to score, and he scored first. And is it Fai? His name is. He is he's just a proper championship striker. He absolutely bullied us when you turn up.
That's Christmas reviewed. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you can explain just what on earth has happened to Watford over that period. I mean, you were due a bit of a patch like this, weren't you? I mean, it was going all too well, really, wasn't it? And I think one of you did call it, I think, before Christmas. This is usually when Watford go off the boil a little bit. Was it you, Rio? Okay. However, news in some newspapers this weekend and today that the Crystal Palace owner is looking to sell part of what he owns at Crystal Palace and buy Watford. Now, we don't know whether this is true or not, Aaron, but first of all, is the Pozzo family putting it up for sale?
The sort of general consensus has been that they're open to investment or selling, and they have been for about 4 years, but just every time something's cropped up, it's not come to fruition. And obviously, we had that thing at the start of the season with the whole online ownership thing where people could buy into the club. That apparently raised 3 million. But I think they're just sort of got their options open at the minute. I don't know about this whole thing with the Palace owner. I don't think Palace fans particularly like him. He's also owned a foreign club as well, I believe, and it didn't go so well there. So I'm not sure how I'd feel about that as the takeover. I think it will be a few more years until we see the Pozzo family let go of Watford.
Okay. Rio, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think I've read somewhere. His name's something Texas. I think Leon are on a transfer ban or being deducted points, something about that, FFP or whatever you call it. And it doesn't seem like it's going too well there. Obviously, Palace have been an established Premier League club for 10 odd years now, but I don't want Pozzo to stay, but they say the grass isn't always greener, so you never know what's coming. It could be a Reading situation.
All right. It's FA Cup weekend this weekend then, and first of all, it's a Thursday night game, Luke, at Fulham. Is this ruin the magic of the FA Cup for you?
Yeah, completely. I think all the games on the FA Cup should be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then you have the Monday fixture with a draw afterwards. That should be how it's done. But a Thursday fixture is just ridiculous. What was it? We're supposed to be on some international broadcast, but I remember. Aaron, have we got an update of it? Yeah.
As far as we know, they still haven't sold the rights to it, have they?
See, that's ridiculous. Okay. So, and we were talking about before the video about the update of Fulham, and they've sold barely anyone. We might even have more fans than them. It's just completely killed it. A Thursday night against a club when they're charging 30 quid for their side. It's actually cheaper to sit in your weight end. It's just not good at all. It's really what takes the sort of the magic out of the FA Cup. For me personally, the FA Cup third round is my favourite weekend of the whole season. The draw, and it's the whole excitement of it to see the other sides. And it is a shame we've been stuck with a Thursday night kickoff.
Okay. Let's bring in our Fulham fan, shall we, Joe, then, and get his view on everything. Hello, Joe. Welcome to Where Hornets Walk.
Hi, Joe.
Thanks for doing this. This is Joe who you may recognise if you're a Fulham fan. You'll know Joe from his very successful TikTok broadcasts. Welcome, Joe. So these guys aren't happy, first of all, about your ticket prices. So talk us through that first of all.
Yeah, it's nice that I can share these sort of annoyances with other people. It's been a problem all season, really. This season, I've been to pretty much every away game and pretty much no home games, just because our home tickets are absolutely ridiculous if you want to pay for it. I mean, against Ipswich the other day, it was something like 80 quid for me to go and sit in the home end, and I'm a uni student, and that's for like a young person's ticket. And obviously, I can't justify spending that. I think I could name about 50 better ways I'm going to spend my Thursday than forking out 30 quid to go and watch us probably put in a subpar performance, to be honest. So yeah, I sadly have made the decision to not attend this one because of the ticket prices, which is a shame because I share that sort of ethos of loving the early rounds of the cup. And last couple of years, we've had a couple good cup runs. So it is a shame, but I did see a tweet about how many seats have sold, and it looks like it might be a bit of a behind closed door friendly.
It sounds like it. No one's going to be watching live in the stadium. No one's going to be watching on the broadcast. This is going to be the most dismal FA Cup tie of all time. You've also got other things in common, of course. You've all got a love, I'm sure, for Marco Silva, although we'll check on how the Watford fans feel about that in a minute. Tom Cleverley loves him, though, and in his recent interview, he said Silva actually had a real influence on him. And actually, you can see probably some of his managerial prowess now as it's come from Silva. Oops, sorry, we've lost Joe there. Aaron, your thoughts on Marco Silva? I know it's Everton's fault so don't have a go at me. But do you enjoy your time in the Silva years?
Look, I'll stand by it. Our football before the speculation with Everton under Marco Silva was probably the best I've ever watched Watford play. That but the start to that season in 17-18, we were brilliant. And we were really positive about the future with him as the manager. And then as soon as that speculation sort of came up in the media, the performances just collapsed. And supposedly it's because the atmosphere in the training ground went, because Marco Silva had made it pretty clear that he wanted to pursue the Everton job. And I get wanting to go and pursue bigger roles, but he had literally just got there. We were playing well. He made all these signings, brought his own players in, and I still think he's a great manager, but I think our animosity towards him is perfectly warranted. He jumped ship and almost derailed that season. The silver lining is that's what ended up bringing Javi Gracia in. So, every cloud on that, but no, I don't think many Watford fans are fond of Marco Silva.
Joe, you love him though.
Yeah, I absolutely adore him. I think if you asked any Fulham fan to describe him in one word, I think a word that would come up very often is ambitious. I think he's always looking forwards, and I think that is what happened at Watford. I don't think what he did is right leaving Watford, but I do think that will be what happens with us as well. I think that a bigger team is going to come in, and that's how he's going to leave. I can't see us ever sacking him. I always thought he really seems like the sort of man who would suit a Spurs job. So I'm really fingers crossed that Ange isn't going and a similar thing isn't going to happen. Obviously, about a year ago, he turned down an absolute mega contract from Saudi. It was something ridiculous, like 30 or 40 million pounds a year. And he turned that down and kind of showed that he's maybe left those ways behind of kind of jumping ship really early. But I think that he is just so ambitious, and he wants to really kind of cement his name as like an established Premier League manager. His football, like mentioned, is wonderful. I mean, we go into every game playing on the front foot. We've had he's had a little bit of a tactical experiment in our last few games with a 5 at the back, which has been a little bit interesting. Some mixed some mixed reviews from them. But yeah, overall, we adore Marco Silva. He's really kind of transformed our club and cemented our status as a Premier League side.
Okay. You haven't followed Watford too much, Joe, I'm sure this season, but just update us what sort of shape of Fulham in terms of injuries, and what do you expect these boys to come up against on Thursday? A second unit, or will he go for hell for leather? Because you're not going down. You may get a chance of Europe, but surely FA Cup.
I think it
for
will
Fulham's going to be best.
It'll be interesting to see what side we put out. I'm still clinging on to we're fighting for Europe. And I will be clinging on to that until it's not mathematically possible anymore. But I think it will be, we are quite thin at the moment with injuries. We've never, since we've been back in the Premier League, really had an injury crisis until this season, where lots of key players are getting injured, but we seem to be working well around it. I think the game's not tomorrow, but when the game is, I think the man to really look out for that I'm sure will be starting is Josh King. He's 18 years old. He started against Southampton. Looks
just
like
talked about.
Oh, did you just speak about it? But yeah, he's the one that I think we're looking really forward to. I think Marshall Godo, he's another youngster, made his Premier League debut against Southampton as well. I think he'll be starting as well. But other than that, I think it will still be quite a strong side. I think Smith Rowe will be starting because he's not kind of found minutes. He's just coming back from an injury lately. I think Muniz will be starting. These sort of players that have kind of found themselves out of favour as of recent in our league fixtures, but are still very, very strong Premier League quality players. So I think it will be a tough challenge.
Okay. Let's get some score predictions then. Luke, you can take it for Watford.
Yeah, after what Joe just said, I think we're gonna make some changes. I think we're gonna get cooked. So I'm gonna go 3-0 Fulham, and I will not be back in Watford to win. I won't even waste the £5 on
it. All right, Joe.
Yeah, I think we're out of the Carabao Cup to the I don't know if you lot remember the penalty shootout against Preston, which was absolutely ridiculous. And we, as I said, we like a cup run. We had a semi-final 2 years ago, a quarter-final 2 years ago, semi-final last year. So I think we are really gonna try and win this. So I think it should hopefully be a comprehensive win. So I'll go for 3-0 as well. I'll agree.
All right, cheers, one. Finally, Rio, which is the bigger club here?
Watford or Fulham?
Yeah.
Watford. Probably.
Watford.
I've only been to Vicarage Road once, and it was when you lot relegated us 4-1.
4-1.
That was I've not got fond memories, to be fair.
No, but obviously Fulham's been in Europe. They were in the Europa League final, semi-final.
Yeah, 2010. Yeah.
They've been doing really well recently, and obviously Marco Silva is playing brilliant football for them.
Right. Well, I'm going to wish you all to enjoy the game. I'll be watching Everton Peterborough at the same time, so unfortunately I won't get to watch this spectacle of football which you're all describing. But wish you well, Joe. Thank you very much for coming on here. We wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season. Thank you, fella, and all the good luck. Do follow Joe's TikTok if you're a Fulham fan joining in. Follow Joe on Twitter. We'll put his Twitter handle in the description below, and do give him a follow. Thank you, Joe. All the best. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, fella.
Cheers.
And finally, for you guys, we want a name from each of you which you'd love to sign for the January window. Rio, kick us off. Just one.
Yeah, so I was obviously going to say centre mid is a priority, but Batman being out to about April means goalkeeper as well. So centre mid, I'll go Hector Cipriano. Peterborough produced many good players in recent years, and they need to make a bit financially. And for goalkeeper, I'll go Carl Rushworth. He's proven himself in this division.
Brilliant. Aaron?
I agree with Rio's midfielder pick, so I'm going to go for a striker. I think there's a lot of value in sort of the top six's youth teams. There's some strikers that have been performing really well. I think one of them who's had a few minutes for it actually is Lancashire. He looks like a really good player, and I think Spurs have got to be looking at getting him minutes in the Championship sometime soon. I think that'd be one I'd like us to pursue. That's
a really good shout out. So there's a couple of clubs that have mentioned his name as well already. Luke?
I've seen a little bit of speculation on Twitter about it, but again, I'm going on the striker point, although I do keep banging on about a midfielder. But if we get Dele Bashiru back, I think that's what we're missing in midfield. But I'm going to go for Eniacho. I think we need a sort of a proven sort of striker in the Championship. The thing is, we haven't had that in years. We haven't had anyone who, you see a team sheet, you think he's got a goal in him. I think that's what we need, especially if we're going to have this sort of push for the playoffs. We just need a smart loan deal that we seem to have not done for a long, long time.
Okay. Would you take Carlton Morris if he came available?
Oh,
You know what?
Fair, but
Well,
depends.
to be fair,
hear a
Luton
no
fans be
there.
the ones hating him. So, yeah, I'll take him.
All right. Thank you very much, all three of you. Let us know in the comments below predictions for the Fulham game and let us know your number one target for January. Next week, we'll be looking at the January fixtures and looking ahead just to where this Watford side are going to finish this season. Enjoy the Fulham game. We'll catch you next week. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget, drop us a subscribe. We're on 30 subscribers. Get it to 50 by the end of the week. We'll be magnificent. See you next week.